Hello, everybody, and welcome to SharePoint Power Hour. I'm Laura Rogers, and Joelle is here. Joelle Jobson, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
And this is our weekly show we do Wednesdays at 11 Central for the last 6 years or so. And we talk about topics that are around SharePoint, Office 365. Both Joelle and I go way back, and I've been using SharePoint for, it's been like 15 years or something now. And so today's topic is going to be Power Apps conditional formatting. And we also have a chat that we do in Slack. So you'll see a link below wherever you're watching this video. You'll see a link to Slack, and there's a link to a form to fill out if you're joining for the first time. And that's the fun part about it being a live show is we just talk about whatever, and we answer questions and have a discussion, and just kind of free form, ad hoc. And so join the chat and come chat with us during the show. We've talked in a couple of previous shows, we've talked about SharePoint conditional formatting. We talked about some of the new ways that you can format views in a SharePoint list. But in Power Apps, you can also do a lot of those same concepts. It's just a completely different way that you're doing it. Same logic, though, if-then conditions. And this isn't anything new in Power Apps. This is just a really popular topic. And so in the voting in the newsletter I sent out yesterday, I just sent out 3 different Power Apps topics to just kind of see what would be something that you all be the most interested in talking about. So we're going to focus on a Power Apps gallery and just different ways that we can make it look, different ways that we can make things in the rows look, just depending on different conditions and just kind of making it look pretty. So let me go ahead and share my desktop. All right, so I have a SharePoint list. I'm going to start off with just a task list because this is a good little demo list that I have that I've been using. It's full of a bunch of fake data. So this is a list in SharePoint, and you can see that in previous demos, I've done some conditional formatting in the SharePoint list. So what I'm going to do is I'll pull this SharePoint list into Power Apps, and I'm looking at it in a gallery, and we're going to do conditional formatting in the gallery. So I'll go over to, this is my Power App, and I have a gallery. So my gallery I've already put on the page, and my items, so I've got a project list that I've got in this app, but I've also got this task list. So this task list that I pulled into the Power App, it's right here above my head, is the one that's this list. So that is the data source. So for this items property of this gallery, that task list is the data that we're looking at. So let me just show you just real quick. If I just had a new blank screen and I inserted a gallery, just to kind of back up a tiny bit, just in case you've never used a gallery, I usually start with blank vertical, so you pick your data source like that when you first insert it. And then even if you pick blank vertical, then you have this layout thing that you can pick from different layouts. So you pick a layout, it will just give you, it will pull in all your task data and give you a few fields in your, just in the gallery, just to start off with. But you can take them and rearrange them and drag them around and kind of line them up in different ways. And you can see that just some fundamentals of a gallery, that as I move things around, it whatever I do in that first row goes down and makes the whole gallery look like that. So that would be how you kind of start from scratch. So this gallery is just already here. So I have a bunch of labels in the gallery. These are all labels. All these things across the screen are labels that I've inserted into my gallery, and I just drag them across to line them up to make them look like columns. That's the nice thing about galleries, is that they're very free form. I like them much. You do have a concept called data tables in Power Apps that are a much faster way of putting data in, just a list like this, but I like galleries better. So that's what we're using. And then all I did for these column headings is I just inserted a bunch of labels outside of the gallery, just on top of it, just manually. So there is, it is a little bit more work manually putting all these pieces on here and lining them up, but that's how I got to where I am. So then I also have, just to make the way these rows look in here, with the white behind the text and the purple in between, is that this gallery, it's got a fill color of, this is a purple color. Let me just, see, the fill color is purple, but this first row here that I was showing you that, you can drag up and down and do all that, that's referred to as the template in a gallery. So you have a thing in here called template fill. So for template fill, I'll just put it on a solid white. See, that's my template fill. So the template fill is what's going to be in the background behind. So we haven't gotten to the conditional formatting yet. I'm just kind of showing you how I got it to look just the way it looks right now. And then the template padding, I have it as 5. So if I'm, kind of lower it a little bit, you can see there's kind of less space in between them. So the template fill and the template padding kind of give you that look of having a separation between, in Power App, there's 100 different ways to do everything, but that's just one way to quickly make it look like, give it kind of some separation between the rows. All right. So then we have the concept of conditional formatting. So as long as you understand an if statement, just if this then that, then you can do conditional formatting. Every single property in Power Apps, in every single control you can just put an if statement in it. It can have conditional formatting. So sky's the limit when it comes to how you want things to look in here. So I'll start with the status here. So I've got my status column. And so first of all, you decide, you put your cursor in that first row, that's the template, and then you decide what property do you want to change. Do you want the fill color, which is the background behind the words? Do you want the text to be a different color? So you decide what you want to be a different color, and then you go to that property. So I'll go to the color property. The color properties, kind of misleading. It's a generic name here, but it just says color. That is the color of the text, just the one called color. And if I went to advanced and I go to like color and just look for all the properties that have to do with color, I can see I've got color, disable color, press color, hover color, border color, blah, 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 blah. So I've got a lot of different color properties just for this one little box right here. So I'll just go to color, and I don't know RGBA codes off the top of my head, so I'm just going to use just regular color names when I do this. So I'll just say if, and do this item dot, and this is my status. And status in SharePoint is a choice field. So because it's a choice field, I have to do this dot value at the end of it equals completed. Make it green, otherwise black. All right, so that's super basic. As you can see on my screen, I can zoom in a little bit. All the ones that are completed are now green. Marie said it would be better to create a global variable than reference that in the statement. You could do that, Marie, yeah. If you have some, are you talking about for the color name itself? You could do that. If you have some standard, very specific colors that you like to reference in here and you want to use those standard colors everywhere, you could totally do that. You could just have a global variable when your app loads that sets, say, corporate red to RGBA, blah, blah, blah. And that way you could use corporate red variable as, as your color name. Yeah, you can do that. All right, so that's just the basics of the way that you can make something look like it's a different color. So now you might also have another concept in here that's similar to an if statement is a switch. So if I want it to be green when it's completed and purple when it's in progress, and I have a bunch of very specific colors that I want it to be for each different status, then a switch is just a more efficient way of doing an if statement. So instead of saying if it's completed green and then doing another nested if statement, if it's in progress, then purple, and then another nested, instead of doing a bunch of if statements inside of if statements, you can just do a switch. And so I'll just do, instead of if, I'll just do switch. So this time status value is the first thing that I'm going to look at. So if this item status value is completed, show it as green. Then if it's in progress, show it as purple. Then if it's not started, then yellow. Wonder if it has a dark yellow. No. I don't want to do yellow, you won't be able to see it. There. And then, so if the value is completed, it's green. If it's in progress, it's purple. If it's not started, it's orange. Otherwise, then you can have just an otherwise color. If it doesn't fall under any of those conditions, then otherwise it'll just be black. So see, I didn't cover waiting on someone else, so it's just black. So that's how you can do an if statement to show a different color, and then a switch to show just different colors based on different conditions. So an if is a switch is just instead of an if statement. Okay. So any questions so far? Just let me know in the chat. All right. So then I can do something like if I want this, if this assigned to is me, I can make this look different too. So what if I want to just look at the font weight? I just want it to be bold. So font weight so right now the font weight of this text right here in the assigned to is just normal. And so I can put an if statement in here. If assigned to, item.assigned to dot email equals, see if I have a var current user. Yeah. Then font weight dot bold, otherwise font weight dot normal. And so where did I get that var current user? Let me see. Oops. Oh, assigned to is got assigned to has got where you can select multiple. So I didn't feel like changing the setting in SharePoint to not select multiple. Okay, so that had to put a first on here. Okay, so I've got assigned to is equal to var current user. When I am first loading the app, just in the onStart, that's just one of the things that I always do is I create this variable called var current user, and I just set it to this user open parentheses, close parentheses, and that will give me this value that I can use everywhere in my app to be able to see information about the currently logged in user. So I can reference var current user.email, var current user.fullname, and var current user.image just anywhere, anytime in the app. So that's what I'm using, is I'm looking and comparing the current user to just whoever's in that assigned to box. So you can see that all the ones that are assigned to me are bold now, and the ones that are assigned, if Joelle was looking at this, she would see her name in bold and not mine. All right. Oh, cool. So you like switch. That's cool. Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice, Marie. Thanks. Okay, so that's how to show a text color and a text as bold. So what we can do also is we could do an icon. So for priority, I'm just gonna kind of move it over a little bit, and I can probably just remove the word, but I'll just show you so we'll be able to see what it's doing. I'll go and insert. So what are some of the icons we have? We have high priority, might want to be like, I wonder if there's like an exclamation mark or something. I'm just kind of looking at what some of these are. I can do emojis. No, I'll just do warning. So there's one called warning. Where did I just insert that? Yeah, so that one's called warning. Let's go look at some of the other ones. And there's one called just information. That's another good one. And then there's another one that's low priority, could be like this down arrow. Okay, so I just want to see what they're called. So I can go to the icon. I can click on an icon, and I can go to the icon property. So this one is called icon warning. I'm just writing that down. This one is called icon information. And then this one is called download. Okay. So watch this. I don't even have to put 3 different icons on here. So I'm going to move this over to where the priority is. And I'm going to say I'm going to go to the icon property. So I can even do a conditional format on telling it which icon to show. So I can say switch. And then this item dot priority. And it's got that dot value again because it's a choice field in SharePoint equals, oops, not equals because I'm doing a switch. If the priority is equal to then if it's high, then I'm going to do warning. Then if it is medium, I think it's normal, then icon dot information. And then I can just say otherwise do icon download. Okay, so now see, look, I've got the high priority, normal, and otherwise, like if it doesn't have a priority or if it's low, see, it's that little download icon. Pretty cool. So far so good. And I can make it a little smaller. And I can also do a color on it. So what I can do, I can make this look really cool. So let me go ahead and I'll insert I like the buttons because they have those rounded corners. You could also do a circle. I can do I'll just insert a circle on here. Now, did I insert it? Yeah, I inserted it in the gallery. So I want my circle to be a circle, to stay a circle. So I'm just going to say I want the width to be 50 and I want the height to equal the width. So self is a new concept that that's new in Power Apps. Instead of having to reference and actually type the name of the control, if you're just referencing yourself, you can just say self. So I want the height to equal the width of itself. So I can just say the height is equal to self.width. Yeah. So then I can take this and put it behind the icon. And then I can make the icon be white. And it's not really centered though, is it? I can work a little bit more on getting those centered and looking correct. And then I can do conditional formatting on the icon's fill color too. So I'll go to the fill color, and I'm just going to take some of this same logic that I did on what the icon is, since I've got the same priorities, and I'm just going to copy that and go to my circle fill color. And instead of warning, information, and download, I'm going to put red. Oops, do I need to put a capital R? Yeah. Orange. And otherwise, I want it to be, I don't know, blue. Ooh, that's so pretty, except they're a little out of line, but now you can see that it's got different little colored circles with icons in them. I got to kind of make the icons a little smaller and put them in the center. So there are things that you can do even with the icon being lined up with the circle. So let's see if I want the icon. I want its X to be the same thing as the circle's X. Circle. Them to have the same X, and I want them to have the same width. So now that kind of puts it in the center like that. And then I can even, on the icon, I can give it some more padding just to make it go in the middle. Oops. There, that looks a little better, right? Oh, okay. And Marie says, any easy way to make the icons not have a hover or to have to manually change each icon? Okay, so I didn't manually change each icon because I only put a single icon on there. And the icon property is the only thing I changed. So that's a good thing, is I didn't have to insert 3 different icons and just show and hide them. And then to make them not have a hover, you can disable them. So I can go to my icon and go to display mode, and I can do display mode.view. So display mode.view, see, makes it so they don't hover, but look, the circles still have a hover. So let me go to my circle now, and I'll put its display mode as view. So now you don't have that annoying hover. Ooh, this one, something's hovering on a couple of them. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out what it's doing. Right on the edge of that circle. So it's still doing some sort of hover. So I could disable it completely. Disabled. Oh, so look, okay, so that's why I didn't disable it in the first place. I was going to talk about display modes in a minute, but we can just move on to display modes. Okay, so disabled display mode actually has its own set of colors. So if you change something to disabled, so these are disabled now and they're not doing anything when I hover over them, but now it's showing the disabled color. So when I go to this circle, and I can even go to the properties and type disabled. See, I've got a disabled fill. So now the disabled fill is this purple color, and that's what it's showing me. So I'll go look at what I did for the fill color, and I'll just take, I'll go to my disabled fill, and I'll just say self.fill. So now the disabled fill is just showing it's just got the exact same formula in it that the fill formula has. So now they're both identical. And if I go and change the fill formula, the disabled color will stay the exact same. Instead of copying and pasting the formula from fill to disabled fill, I just had disabled fill reference the other fill. Okay, so now it's disabled and it's not, it didn't change its color. So, does that make sense? I don't know. Somebody said you have to do something for all three icons, but there aren't three icons. So I'm not sure. Okay, so here we are. So I got that. Now you can also do showing and hiding things with your conditional formatting. So this one doesn't have a priority. So what if it doesn't have a priority? I don't want to show this circle and this icon. So if the priority is empty or blank, I want to not show it. So that's when you would go to your object here, your control that you want to show or hide, and then go to the visible property. And visible is just a Boolean. It's just going to say true or false. That's all there is to it. So if you're doing an if condition in there, just as long as the result of your if condition is just true or false, then the thing will show or hide. So right now, of course, visible is true. So I can say, now I could go say if the priority is not blank, then show it, otherwise hide it. Then, but I can also just make it a little bit more simple. So I'll just say is blank, not is blank. This item dot priority I got to do the dot value thing. Oh yeah, I think you have to use, oh wait, I've got to close that. There we go. Okay. So I didn't have to do an if condition because this function that I wrote equals a Boolean. So it evaluates to true or false. So if this priority is not blank, then the icon will show, otherwise it won't. So you see how that works? So now it's just not, the icon's just not showing, and the circle's not showing. The icon's actually still showing, you just can't see it because it's white. So what I could do in my icon is I can just say my visible property is equal to circle dot visible. So that way, whatever the circle is doing, if it's visible or not, that icon will just follow along. All right. Oh yeah, Marie says she liked that visible property. Yeah, that's fun. Easy to show and hide stuff with visible. All right, so we talked about icons and we talked about color circles and the template. The template fill can also be shown in a different way. So I just deleted the text that told me what the priority is. You could also, just real quick, you could also do something so that when you hover over it, the tooltip can say what the name of the actual priority is, this item, so that they're not completely unsure just by looking at the icons what the priority is. So now, see, I hover over it, I can see that little tooltip is showing me what the priority is if I'm not sure what the icon means. I can also I can make the whole template, that whole row, be a certain color if I want to. All right, so let's do status. So let's just say I want it, if it's in progress, I want the whole row to be yellow. So that is going to be that template fill that I was talking about. Let's see. So let's see if this item dot status equals in progress, then I'll just do like some kind of light yellow. otherwise white. Oops. Status dot value. I keep those stupid choice fields. There we go. Okay, so now we have, if it's in progress, see that whole row is this nice little yellow shade. You like that? Oh, good, Pam. I'm glad you like that little tooltip tip. Okay, so yeah, and that's a good point, Christy, is that if you can understand rules in Outlook in your inbox, if you've ever created rules in Outlook, and that's just conditions, right? That's this, if this, then that, then you can understand how to do conditions in any other program like Excel or Power Apps, as long as you understand the logic. And then the thing about Power Apps that's different than Excel is then Power Apps, each different property expects a specific type of value. So if you're on a color or a fill property, the value that is in that property has to be some sort of color, like RGBA or the name of a color or a hex color. And if you're in like a visible property, that has to be true or false. And if you're in a font weight property, that has to be the name of a font weight, like bold or normal. So all of your different properties are going to expect very specific, not all of them, but a lot of them are going to expect a very specific type of value in the property. Okay, so another thing that we can do is disable a button. So one thing that, let's see, let me go ahead and I'll put going to ramp it up a notch here, and I'm going to just insert a form just right in smack dab in the middle of this page. And it'll be a task list form. And look at that, so it's clear. I don't want my form to be clear because now I won't be able to see through it. So I'll just make my form, make it a lighter color than that. There we go. Okay. So this is my task form. So I can make it so I can click on a task to open up the task form, but maybe disable the button so that if it's a completed task, I can't open it. The button will be disabled. Okay, so that's going to be the functionality that I'm going to do. So let's see, I'm going to change this to 2 columns. We've got a lot of little extraneous columns in here I don't need right now. Just make it a little smaller. Okay, so that is my form for the task. And then I'm going to say, when I click on, I'm going to put a button in my gallery so that when I click on the button, it's going to make this form appear. So for now, I got to get the form out of the way. I'm just going to change its visible to false and just move it. So let me add a button to my gallery. So I need to go to that first row in the gallery. I got to go back up here and add a button. I'm just going to add it just like over here on the right. Okay, and then I'll just call it open. And you know what? I like the little border radius. They used to have them on buttons by default in Power Apps, and then now they make them just square by default, but I like the border radius, so it gives them like little curved corners. So I'm going to say when I click this, it's going to do a context variable of var pop-up, change it to true. So we're getting a little advanced, aren't we? I always do that kind of towards the last part of Power Hour where I just kind of start throwing in some more advanced topics, you know, when I get bored of whatever the topic is, right, Joelle? Oh, and Joelle, let me know if you think of like anything you've done in a project where any certain thing, condition might have been something you used or required or would have been nice to have, that kind of thing. If you come up with any creative ideas, you can try those.
Sure.
All right, so when I click this button, it's just going to set this variable to true. And then this form, I'll call it FRM task. Then the form itself, its visible is going to be that variable. So then when I click one, it opens. Now I didn't make it do, I didn't send the command to do an edit form. So that would be another good thing for it to do. And I didn't set an item property, so just popping up a form and making it show doesn't necessarily do the trick. So in this case, you know what? You could just do the name of the gallery.selected right here to tell the form which item to show. But I'm going to use my best practice here, and I'm going to make it set a variable when I click the button, and I'm going to put the variable here telling the task form which item to show. So what I'm going to do is it's going to edit the form, and I'll just put this variable at the very beginning. Set var task record to this item. And then, so this variable right here is going to tell me which specific task I've selected. And then for the form's item control, I'm going to do, just put the variable task record. So let's see. So yeah, now when I open something, now it knows which specific item to open. And then I don't have a way to close it yet, though. I didn't put any kind of X in here to close the form. So what I like to do in here is I like to just take whatever card is sort of towards the top right of the form and just put the X in there. That way the X just stays with the form. So I'm just going to insert an X inside of this card and kind of just put it up here and maybe make it a different color there. And so this one actually has to set that variable back to false. So on select, what is this button going to do? It's going to do update context, and that var pop-up, change it to false, and that will make the pop-up go away. So I'm just opening it and looking at it and closing it. See, I'm opening this one and looking at it and closing it. So what I want to do is disable this button so that it will not, I can't open them if they're already completed. All right, so that is going to be the display mode. And that we kind of briefly talked about the display mode a minute ago with changing it to disabled if you don't want something to be hoverable or clickable. But I can also say, put a condition in here. So if this item dot status dot value equals completed, then display mode dot disabled. Otherwise, display mode dot edit. Now, display mode dot edit is a little misleading. Edit doesn't mean you're actually editing something. It just means that that control is going to work. It's going to function. If it's a button, it's actually going to be clickable. So now look at that. Look at all my completed tasks and I can't click on them because the button is disabled. Pretty cool, right? So now I can open that one and close it. And then of course I didn't put any kind of submit button in the task, so might want to throw that in, right? I'll just go ahead and put, and again, I might just put it in this card. Now I'll just, I don't know, just stick it. Doesn't really matter. Just put it in here. Okay, where did my button go? There we go. Got kind of some Mardi Gras colors going here, don't I? or maybe I can just make it say save. And on select, what is that button going to do? It's going to submit that form. So what do y'all think? Do you like that idea of just having a having the form just pop up right in front of your list and not have to take you to a separate place? It makes it kind of a little bit faster, right? So I can submit my form, and then if they want to submit the form and not close it, I still also want the form to go away, right? I want it to disappear. So they're submitting it. So then on success, which means they've successfully submitted it, then I'm going to do that same update context and change the var pop-up to false to make it disappear. So I can go change this. And then it disappeared. Oops, look, I didn't put any visible property on my save button. I need to do that too. That one needs to have the same visible property as that form, so that when the form appears, that button appears. So I'll just reference the visible property. So instead of having to take formulas and copy and paste them a bunch of different places, you can just have this formula, this visible property, reference the form's visible properties, so they kind of stay together, right? Oh, Marie says they try to stay away from pop-ups. But yeah, it's just one of those things to consider in Power Apps, that if you just have something really small, you can make it show as a pop-up, or you could make it show, like, have the pop-up be one of those little boxes that shows kind of up and down the right side of the screen, just like in SharePoint. So let's try that. I'll do open one. I can drag it over. Let me zoom out a little. Just take the whole thing and go like that. Of course, you might want to change it to one column if you're going to do that. And then this one's got like way too many columns. There. And then I gotta move my X, don't I? If I do that. I'll put it up here in this one. Okay. Now see, that looks kind of like SharePoint, doesn't it? So now I've got I can go open one, and it opens on the right just like in a SharePoint list. So maybe that'll kind of give people more what they're used to seeing. So I just changed that one to high priority. So you can see the icon changed. All right, so just another way of doing things, hiding and disabling things. I can also make the overdue, say the due date, if I want it to be read when they're overdue. So let's compare the due date to today. So what do I want to be read? Do I want to have just the text change to red, or do I want to have like a big red box, like the fill color of the thing changes to red? So it just depends on what I want to change to red. I'm just going to keep it pretty simple and just make it be the color, just the text color. So I'll say if, let's see, this item dot due date is less than now, and this item dot status dot value, let's see, yeah, can't spell, it's not equal to completed, then red, otherwise just whatever that other color was. Oh, look at that. So look at that. So the ones that are overdue, that are still in progress or not completed yet, and the date is before today, they're showing in red. Interesting, right? You like that? Right, yep. Right, so that is a good, so that's why I left the percent complete on here as just a number. So I think I actually did this in another power hour where I had the percent complete, and I made it look like a little graph, like a little bar, but we may as well just do that since we're in here. And you can do that. I think we've done that in a SharePoint list with the list formatting and in Power Apps too. So my percent complete, this is just a label, but the label has a it has a width. So is this what I did last time? Let me see. So if I can change the width of how complete it is. So let me see. I'll make the fill color. I'm just trying to think of a creative way to do this. There are a lot of different ways you can slice and dice it. But I'm going to say I want the fill color of this label to be, just make it be blue for now. And the width is going to equal this item dot percent complete. Well, no, because that's way too narrow. It was times 100. Yeah, so that gives me my percent complete. And it's basically 100 pixels if it's 1. So what is that in there? Oh, I'll have to go see what this is. But yeah, if it's not wide enough to show the number, see, it's showing this wonky little scroll bar. So I don't want that. I still want to show the number somehow. So what I can do would be to if it's, I don't know, if it's a 0, I still want to be able to show it, right? So one thing that I could do would be to put a box like this just right behind the label that says what the percent complete is. So I'll just do that. I'll just copy and paste this. And I'm not naming anything, am I? I'm not taking the time to name things correctly. So it's kind of a hodgepodge in here, right? Oh, and also this is, let me just delete both of these. Okay, I'm just going to put a label. Oops, see, look at that. So if I'm trying to insert something in my gallery and I don't put my cursor in that first row of the gallery and I try to insert it, it's just kind of floating around here outside of the gallery. So when I insert a label, I need to put my cursor in that first row to do that. And that is what will make it show down, through all those. So percent complete dot there. Okay, so that one's just showing the percent complete times 100. Okay, and then I can put ampersand percent like that. So now it's showing the right number, and now I can insert I could just insert a rectangle or anything behind it I'll just put in a rectangle, or it could just be another label. And I'll do a rectangle, and I'll make the rectangle be behind this, and its width is going to be the percent complete. So I'll put it behind, send backward, and its width, this item dot percent complete times 100. And then this needs to be white. All right, so now that looks a little nicer. See that you've got like little different widths of things. So this list looks a lot different than it did when I first started with it, doesn't it? Another thing you could do would be even fancier is to make it be a different color if it's a different percent complete, right? So my fill color could be, you could probably define a whole bunch, you maybe do a switch in here if you wanted to, but I'll just say if this item dot percent complete equals 1, then green. Otherwise, that other color. So you could define a bunch of different like ranges as to different ranges of numbers. And Marie says, any hotkeys to do reorder? We did that in a different power hour. We did a whole power hour about actually this other list, this projects list. And we showed how to create this projects list and how to put sorting on it and put filtering on, specific values. And I think it was called, what was that power hour called? Filtering galleries, maybe, I think. So, but this is the whole thing we did in that other power hour, is this thing. What else? Jerome says, what are the difference between set var versus update context? Oh, that's a good question, Jerome. A variable var, or the set command, is a global variable. So anything that you set using the set command is going to be available to you no matter where you are in the app and any screen you're in. And the update context is a local variable, which means it's only a variable available in that one screen. And you're thinking, well, why not make just everything a global variable? Because then it'd be much more useful. Well, when you start getting bigger apps and more complex apps with lots of different screens and lots of different lots of data and just lots of stuff going on in there, then it actually makes your app more efficient to only use the variables on the screen that you need them, and it actually makes it faster. I had a really big app one time that I had just used global variables for everything back a few years ago when Power Apps was brand new. And I went through one day and switched everything that I could over to be just local variables, and it made everything much faster, just going from screen to screen and stuff like that. So cool. I'm glad you like my episode. Oh, thanks. Pam just pasted it in the chat, the link to the other power hour called Power Apps Custom Filtering. Cool. Let's see, what else can I do for...
Hey, I think Zach had a question. And Zach, I'm just going to post your question here. It's not specific to this, but it is about patching gallery stuff. So I'm going to post his question. That way, if you have some time, I figured it might be worth looking at. Let me go back to Power Hour. I'll paste it in for you, Zach.
Is it in the...
I'm doing it right now. Sorry, I was just
okay.
tagging him. There you go.
Patching to a task list. Oh. Yeah, this item is supposed to work, so he said he's doing a patch. So that's a perfect thing that we could put in here, would be to stick a checkbox in here where people can patch to do something like complete a task. He says he's got one that is a field called required. So I'll just do that. I'll just say I'm going to add a column. Now, your field is it a yes, no field called required in SharePoint? Like required toggle. Interesting. So he's got a required toggle in a gallery that's like a toggle box, and you want it to change a field called required. So I'll just use executive here, because executive here in my task list is a Boolean in SharePoint. It's a yes, no. So let's try to do something with that since we've got like 6 minutes. Let's see. So in my gallery, I'm going to insert a toggle. All right, and I'm going to say, and this is going to be, move some of this stuff over a little bit. And that is going to be my executive field. So when they change this, I want to patch to the list to change it. So let's see. First of all, I need to make sure that what it's showing is the value from my executive field. So the default is going to be executive. Okay, look at that. So now it's showing whether or not something is executive, and it's just showing the words on or off, but I can make it say no and yes. So now it's at least showing the right words. So then I need to do something on check. On check. Patch. And then my tasks list. This item. And then what am I gonna patch? What is the system name of that executive column? My little quick way of looking at that is, look at this. Look how ugly this is. Field equals that. Oh, is that underscore part of the field name? God, that's ugly. Okay, so that is my executive column. So on check, I want to change it to true. I haven't done much patching of Booleans, so yeah, who knows? Who knows if this is going to work the first time? It moved to another form. Oh, what did I do? Something in that gallery is making it navigate. Let me see what my on select is in this gallery. Come on, gallery. Oh, what is it doing? Did I break it? Okay. The whole thing's gonna explode. On select for my gallery. Yeah, I was going to some other screen. That was something residual from something else. This item conflicts with existing changes on the server. E-tag mismatch. So maybe I need to refresh after I do that. Let me go refresh this. Okay, we'll see. I don't know if it actually worked. These all say yes now. Oh, it's still refreshing. I don't know, something's going weird with this thing. The whole thing's just got really slow. Okay, so this one is, look at a whole bunch of them. Is this what you're talking about, Zach? Is that they keep changing? They're all like toggling themselves and just willy-nilly, they're all just going bonkers. Is this your error? Because I think I just recreated it. Let's see what it's doing over here. Did it just change all of them? Executive, yes. Yeah, it might have. Okay, so let's try doing adding an additional step. That's awesome that I was able to immediately recreate what you were seeing. I feel like I need to kill the whole thing, like save it and just close it so it will stop going. That's awesome. That is a good one. Close. I'm going to reopen it. That's fun. Congratulations, Zach. You win the prize for the day. You found a bug in Power Apps. Okay, let's see. All right, let's try. So I feel like it's still doing something. Like it's still going and going. I feel like I need to just remove whatever it's doing. on check and just delete this whole thing. Golly, stop. Set var task record to this item. And then patch. I'm just going to say on change. I'm not even going to do whether it's yes or no yet. I'm going to say patch to the task list. So notice I'm setting it a variable first. And then which one do I want to change? I just want to change the record that is that specific task record. And then I'll say executive true. Oh wait, false. I think they're all true right now. So as long as I change it to something, it will change it to false. So that is my first troubleshooting step. I really need to stop today though. So I'll change once. Set up team project meeting. Okay, I set team project meeting to no. Oh, look. Oh, it changed them all to no. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So this is something I'd probably have to spend some more time on, Zach, but congratulations for finding you broke the internet. That's a fun way to end Power Hour. Let me switch. I'm gonna kill this thing. It's like gonna go bonkers, and my computer's gonna die. It's gonna crash. Blue screen of death, and it's all Zach's fault. That's fun, right, Joelle? Yeah. So that is crazy. So the things to troubleshoot with that are going to be, is it because it's a Boolean field that's happening? Is it if it's just some other field, if it's just a choice field and you make it be a choice field that says yes or no that you're setting with the toggle, would it have the same problem? So is it because it's a Boolean, or is it because of, you'd have to kind of whittle it down and narrow down what specifically is causing it and kind of isolate the problem. Yeah. That's that's another, I don't know about you, Joelle, but I tend to kind of avoid Boolean yes, no fields in SharePoint because of weird things like that. Do you do that too?
Yeah, just from previous experiences. And the thing is, I don't even know if they're even any better. Obviously, we can see that maybe not. But yeah, from previous experience, I tend to try to avoid them.
Yeah, over the years, just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, with SharePoint Designer workflows and stuff like that.
Yeah. So maybe a good practice is to avoid Booleans in SharePoint. That's kind of sad, but they do tend to have weird behaviors. I love all the Giphies and memes and things people are putting in the chat. Okay, well, it was fun, everybody. I've got a surprise. I'm going to email you all about just a fun little free thing we're doing with our training. But I will see you all soon, and you all have fun with your Power Apps. And I hope everyone stays well and does well with their jobs and their working at home and all the weird stuff that's going on in the world right now. I get so many out of office replies every time I send the newsletter out every Tuesday. It just kind of, it makes me sad. I don't know, everybody's got all these different little weird situations. So
yeah.
So
great session, Laura.
Yeah. Really thanks. Good. Yeah, that was fun. Thanks everybody for coming.
Thanks everybody.
Have a good week. Bye.